World Underneath 15, Sketches, Volume 13. Chapter 1, Featured Character. Yvette, born December 2012 on Coral Reef Island, now part of Skyhaven Guard Station Archipelago, senior engineer and best-selling author, admitted to the Department of Energy and Power Engineering at Coral Reef Institute of Technology, now merged with Skyhaven University in 2030. That same year, she began creating educational science videos and content on online platforms. In 2033, she published the science fiction novel Cloud, which gained significant attention, establishing her as a representative sci-fi author before the Corona Rift catastrophe. After graduation, she joined the Deepspace Aviation Administration as an engineer. In 2043, following her divorce, she resigned from her engineering position to pursue writing full-time. Her influential works include Cloud, Far Sky's End, and The First Question, which have been translated into multiple languages and published worldwide. She has received numerous awards, including the Whitehall Literature Award, Skyhaven Fantasy Literature Award, and the Suspense Award. In 2048, she was awarded the Skyhaven Medal of Arts and Literature. She currently resides in Lincoln City with her son, daughter, cat, and dog. Editor's note: Yvette has long been a creator I've wanted to meet. After running Sketches for a year, my producer recently pointed out that our 12 episodes spanning the year have all featured academic experts from various fields. The show lacks mass appeal and entertainment value. It won't survive at this rate. The producer suggested interviewing some popular young entertainers who have both influence and talent as a year-end special. However, I've always insisted that Sketches should be authentic. We spend at least a full day with our subjects, moving through multiple everyday settings for open conversations, aiming to reveal sides of them beyond public perception. Of course, I can't afford to book a young celebrity's entire day. Then I spotted Cloud on my bookshelf. It's one of my favorite novels, consistently ranking in the top 10 bestsellers across bookstores and websites since Skyhaven's establishment. Many consider it prophetic of the Skyhaven project, and its author, Yvette, has gained immense popularity across all social classes and age groups. The producer agreed readily, perhaps seeing this as the biggest compromise I could make, a literary influencer. And that's how this episode came to be. Chapter 2, Homeland. At 1 in the afternoon, I arrive as planned at Yvette's studio in Hillside Gardens, Philly district of Lincoln City, which also serves as her home. Just as she mentioned on the phone, the scent of plum blossoms signals that her house is near. The moment our cameraman frames the small courtyard with its plum tree, the front door opens and out comes Yvette, greeting me with 2 garbage bags in hand, even waving at the camera, garbage bags and all. Juniper, it's an honor to meet you. I've watched all your shows. I'm a big fan. Let me just take out the trash first. Please come in. Oh, the camera crew too. You'll need to set up your equipment, right? I've cleared some space. The crew and I stand there momentarily stunned, somewhat hesitantly entering the courtyard. The cameraman even asks if we should edit out that last bit. We end up conducting the interview under Yvette's plum tree, brewing tea in the early spring air amid the fragrance of plum blossoms. The atmosphere is wonderfully relaxed, quite different from our previous interviews with academic veterans. Sketches. When Skyhaven was completed, all former Coral Reef Island residents were granted immediate residential rights in Skyhaven and its guard stations. You're one of the few I know who gave up this right, especially considering you were working at the Deepspace Aviation Administration at the time. Yvette. It wasn't what I'd imagined. I grew up on Coral Reef Island. How much do you know about it? Sketches. I did my research. It's primarily a coral island. Its base eroded over time by coral-consuming microorganisms into a pivot-like pointed structure. Rich in magnetic ore, it began rotating under the planet's protofield, generating torque. This rotation ground the surrounding lakes into a perfect circle, like an ice ring. That's also why it could float skyward when the deep space tunnel's appearance altered the magnetic field and gravity vortex. Yvette. That's what the geography textbooks say. Sketches. Haha, yes. Yvette. When your childhood home is sold and renovated, it's still the same house in the same place, but would you still call it home? What the geography textbooks don't mention is coral reef islands' distinct seasons, pleasant climate, abundant rainfall, and rich biodiversity. They don't tell you about the spring buds on trees, the cool summer springs, the autumn leaves dancing with migratory birds, or the setting sun through winter reed marshes. Though the island's unique geological environment meant most residents were school faculty and researchers in geology and physics, you couldn't escape nature's subtle influence. Tell me, have you ever seen wildlife in Skyhaven? Even birds are a rare sight. Sketches. Well, Skyhaven is too high for most birds to reach. Yvette, in a few years, I might move somewhere like Windfall Tableland. I've lived by water all my life, but never experienced vast grasslands. Azure Peak and Iridium would be nice too. I've never lived in the mountains or desert. Sketches. Moving to a new place every few years? Yvette, yes. The world is vast and life is short. For this one precious journey, we should make it worth the price of admission. Sketches. Price of admission? When did you buy your ticket? At birth? Yvette, the wrong turns, the falls, the losses, the treasures left behind, aren't those all part of the price? Sketches. By that logic, the longer you live, the higher the price. Yvette, that's why we can't stop. Don't pause on the path you want to take. What a waste that would be. The interview concludes here as Yvette heads to her guest lecture at Skyhaven University. I specifically scheduled our talk for today to see this former researcher turned writer from a student's perspective, and to return to a university classroom myself. Chapter 3. Central Theme. I hadn't expected Yvette to begin her lecture this way. As we enter the auditorium, the screen is playing a decade-old Lincoln News Street interview about whether Skyhaven should be built. In 2034, intense magnetic fluctuations from the Deepspace tunnel caused several islands and landmasses to break away from their tectonic plates, drawn together and suspended above Lincoln City by an unusual gravity vortex. In 2036, building on their initial success with protocore technology, Ever Corporation boldly proposed the Skyhaven project, a plan to stabilize these floating islands using high-intensity protocores, establish self-sustaining ecosystems, and connect surrounding guard stations to create a true aerial base, pioneering new ground for human habitation. When the plan leaked, it caused a global uproar. Until then, protocore technology, still viewed with skepticism and often faced with opposition, had been limited to manufacturing hunter equipment and weapons. This marked its first application in civic infrastructure. People naturally split into two camps: the purists who opposed the project due to risks from wanderers and protocore syndrome, and the prototists who saw it as humanity's new dawn. Yet one of the key factors that helped the general public embrace the prototists' vision was Yvette's first full-length science fiction novel, Cloud, published in 2033. In class, instead of discussing the creative process behind Cloud, Yvette engages in a conversation across time. Two sofas are placed at center stage, with Yvette sitting in the right one. Through AI-enhanced holographic projection, her 10-year younger self appears on the left sofa. She introduces her past self. Yvette, 27, Research Institute of the Deepspace Aviation Administration, Senior Engineer of the Skyhaven Initiative, science fiction author, and devoted prototist. Then she turns, playfully gesturing to herself. Yvette, 37, author, enjoys growing flowers and drinking tea, wastes time, harbors simple sentiments instead of grand ambitions. Yvette, 37. From your first online short stories to the published novels Cloud and Far Sky's End, the relationship between technology and humanity has been your central theme for 5 years. Do you think this topic has been fully explored? Yvette, 27. It's inexhaustible. I believe this has been humanity's question for the past 3 centuries, and remains the defining issue of our era. Each generation finds its own answers, and each generation poses new questions. Just look at the recent past. Before 2034, wind and solar power were clean but inefficient. Oil, shale gas, and coal were limited and heavily polluting. Nuclear power carried high risks and faced public resistance. The whole world was trying to achieve nuclear fusion at room temperature to solve our energy constraints. Now, I hear even the last nuclear power plant is about to shut down. After all, we have protocores now, cosmic energy from deep space. Yvette 37. Do you think our reception of this cosmic energy was coincidence or inevitability? Yvette 27. Yvette 27. Yvette 27. Electronic voice. I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. The audience erupts in laughter. Yvette 37. Let's try another question. What's your real reason for supporting Ever Corporation's protocore technology development? Yvette 27. I believe our era needs protocores. Yvette 37. Then what about those suffering from protocore syndrome? They're no different from past radiation victims. Yvette 27. It's like the relationship between technology and humanity that I've been exploring. How technology develops is determined by people. Yvette 37. Do you think people can be trusted? Nuclear reactions weren't originally developed for power generation. Yvette 27. Yvette 27. Yvette 27. Electronic voice. I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. Another wave of laughter ripples through the audience. Yvette 37. Infinite energy, breakthroughs in genetics, interstellar migration becoming reality. What kind of world do you think that would create? Yvette 27. When resources are depleted, civilization regresses. Earth is small, but space is limitless. Humanity can seek answers to all its questions in the depths of space, and the universe will respond. That's why I believe the future must be beautiful. Yvette smiles, not asking any more questions, and turns to face the students. After a moment of silence, applause breaks out. I don't join in. I'm not sure what they're celebrating. When the applause dies down, Yvette raises the microphone. Do you truly believe our world has become a better place? Those on Earth look up to Skyhaven. Those in Skyhaven gaze into deep space, and those in deep space seek to glimpse what lies beyond. Everyone has their own central question. What's yours? Chapter 4. Cloud. Leaving Skyhaven University, I accompany Yvette to pick up her child, playing the role of an eager student to continue our classroom discussion. Sketches. From what you said in class, it seems your future works will have a different central theme. Yvette. Though I've changed a lot in 10 years, I'm still myself. I just used to always look up toward the sky, and now I've turned my gaze downward, facing the earth instead of the heavens. Sketches. Yes, you were once among the closest to reaching the end of depths. Your research in protocore energy helped stabilize the floating islands beneath deep space, building cities upon them, a miracle people look up to, while preventing the risks of a stabilizing protofield. Just like in your novel, Cloud. Yvette, you've read it. Sketches. I loved it. How do you view your work from over a decade ago? Yvette, I was quite the dreamer back then. As you saw in that opening interview, everyone was holding up my book, imagining the wonderful life after Skyhaven's completion. Humanity would gradually live above the clouds, returning Earth to itself. Those in the sky would immerse themselves in viewing Earth in its purest form, without human presence. They'd watch elephant migrations and the seasonal return of migratory birds. When I wrote it, I never imagined life above the clouds would become reality in just a few years. But the Earth I described in my book never appeared, and perhaps never will. Sketches. That's why you asked that question before class ended. Yvette, yes. Science fiction used to focus on how we'd find new homes and preserve human civilization after depleting our resources. But now that the resource problem is solved, people suddenly think they're omnipotent. We've crossed 2 eras. Before we've even figured out how to sustain civilization, we're already trying to become gods. Suddenly, everyone's lost touch with reality. Sketches, and you came back down to Earth. Yvette, haha, the landing was a bit rough. Sketches. It wasn't just because Earth and the clouds never materialized, was it? Yvette, no. Sketches. Leaving the Deep Space Aviation Administration, and later the divorce. All of that? Mommy! A boy holding a girl's hand runs out from Skyhaven Elementary's gates, throwing himself into Yvette's arms. I stop questioning, suddenly unsure of how to proceed, though Yvette seems completely at ease. Yvette. At the Aviation Administration, my ex-husband and I were considered the perfect couple, high school sweethearts who joined the administration together. I researched energy, he became a pilot. Then he joined the Far Space Fleet, and after that, We divorced. Sketches. Whispering. Is it okay to discuss this in front of your children? Girl. Why wouldn't it be? Mommy doesn't love Daddy anymore, so of course she can leave. Boy. Yeah, but it's been a while since we've seen Daddy. Yvette, should we try our luck up there? We might see him. Boy. Yay, we get to visit the Skyhaven ring again. I'm about to take my leave when Yvette unexpectedly invites me along. She tells me that meeting her ex-husband might naturally answer the questions lingering in my mind. Chapter 5. Heartless. At Skyhaven's peak, the Skyhaven ring resembles an aureole above Aditi's head, encircling the highest guard station. Home to the Farspace Fleet Base, protocore energy flows through this massive celestial ring, creating streams of light in a spectacular rainbow of colors. For every child with dreams of piloting mechs, it's an irresistible sight. Sketches. If you don't like Skyhaven, why have your children attend school here? The educational resources are excellent, and when they first started elementary school, I was still working at the Aviation Administration. Sketches. Do you hope they'll follow in yours and your ex-husband's footsteps? Yvette, they'll make their own choices. I can't interfere with that. Though if I'm honest, I'd prefer they don't become scientists. Humanity won't die from progressing too slowly, but take too big a leap, and you'll not only stumble, you'll lose your way entirely. Yvette's attention is drawn to two tall figures standing in the reception area. Dad! The boy rushes forward, but the officer turns and instinctively moves to protect the young colonel behind him, his hand shooting out to block the boy. Undeterred, the boy wraps himself around the very arm trying to push him away. Dad! Liam, they came to see you. Yvette approaches with the girl, and I notice the complex emotions in the officer's eyes as his son clings to him. Wariness, unfamiliarity, hesitation, before finally settling into neutrality. He turns to his colonel, seemingly asking for permission, then nods and reluctantly pats the children, his touch lacking any paternal warmth. Family is important, Adjutant Liam. Spend some time with them tonight. The colonel's words are considerate, but his tone lacks any real emotion. The girl is clearly more mature than her brother as she says, "There's no need, it's boring with Dad. My brother will want to leave soon." You'll hurt your father's feelings saying that. He won't care. Like mother, like daughter. The colonel gazes at Yvette with a perfectly measured smile, which she meets with ice in her eyes. I want to know what's out there in deep space that makes you so willing to abandon everything here on Earth. Humanity's problem was never about energy. It's about refusing to let go of what we already have, even when it's become worthless. A tethered kite will never reach the far sky, Miss Yvette. Sure enough, the boy soon leaves his father's side, returning to bury his face against Yvette's leg. She strokes his head as she lifts him up, turning back to face the colonel. I'm working on a new book, Colonel Caleb. You might be interested. It's called Heartless. The young man nods. I wish you success. Afterward. On the way back, I recall Yvette's question in class when her virtual self reverted to artificial idiot mode. Can humans be trusted? She answered that while she doesn't trust humans, she trusts human nature, just as she believes humanity will find a path beyond protocore technology. Later, when Heartless is published, I ask if she chose the title because of how Liam has changed. Yvette just smiles faintly and says, "It's because heartless rhymes with coreless."